Guys, this one thing has literally made me over hundreds of thousands of dollars, and also it will save me close to probably tens of millions of dollars over my life just because this one thing. And actually this one thing has also enabled me to go from all the way from $0 a month, just starting my agency just over a year ago, all the way up to making close to 100K per month profit after tax, cash collected at only 21 years old, which is honestly a lot more than these guys who are doing 300K per month in their agencies, but their margins are so low, so they're only taking home close to maybe 25, 30K per month. This one thing is networking. So networking is probably the most undervalued thing in SMA and just overall life in general. Now, through this video, I'm going to show you guys all of my networking results and stories that I made over hundreds of thousands of dollars from, and also I will save close to 50 million now from over my life, honestly, not yet. Okay, so first story, guys. So this is from a guy named Jacob. Now, Jacob actually inbounded me. He actually came into my ecosystem for my YouTube channel earlier on this year. And what happened is he asked me for coaching. We got on a quick call. I told him all the sauce, and then we pretty much became really, really good friends. And then after that, a few weeks later, actually what happened is one of his friends just scaled his SMMA in real estate from 10K per month to 40K per month in 30 days with his brand new method on TikTok ads, right? So what happened is Jacob actually told that method to me, the exact same method, and we actually launched ads together, and that actually resulted in just over 20K cash collected in just 30 days, right, for me, which was absolutely insane at the time. I was like, holy fuck, this is like taking off, right? So Jacob literally just came into my life just because I had a YouTube channel at the time. And I think at the time I only had a few hundred subs. He came into my ecosystem, and then just because I had that ecosystem in place, I made over 20K cash collected in 30 days, right? That's absolutely insane. So the next story. So this next story is actually to Charlie Morgan and Andrew Kirby. Now, Andrew Kirby's a YouTuber of about 600,000 subscribers right now. But this actually was at a dinner in Dubai, and I texted Charlie was in Dubai. He pretty much invited me on this dinner, and there ended up being about 8 YouTubers there. I think it was actually close to 10 towards the end of it. But essentially what happened is I started talking with a bunch of them, with a bunch of super sick guys there, and I was talking to Andrew Kirby, right? And I asked Andrew, yo, mate, what's the sauce with YouTube? I just need to grow this thing. So he told me this one thing that made me over $100,000. Which is absolutely crazy to say, right? Just because of networking, I made over $100,000 just from this one story. So this one thing was my positioning and also my background story, right? So I just made a YouTube video on my background story, and that actually got close to 4,000 views now. We'll probably go a bit more than that. And also, he told me about my positioning of actually how you position yourself in the market, and also how you position yourself as a person on your YouTube videos, right? Because right now, my positioning is very, very good. I'm positioning myself as authority and also high value just because I'm networking with these top guys, and also just because I make a lot of money, and I've been traveling the world the past year, which no one else does. Because it's scarce, that means it's high value, right? And that's actually the only reason why you guys are probably listening to this right now. Obviously, because you guys like me as a person, but I'm kind of joking. Right, so what happened is I actually made that YouTube video, and that thing got about 40 messages from people trying to buy my one-on-one mentorship program, right? Which is absolutely insane. It's not a program, by the way. It's just one-on-one mentorship. There's no course. There's no videos at all. It's just one-on-one. So what happened is I had 40 people message me, right? I think it was actually close to 50 now, right? So I'll literally make over $100,000 just because this one thing that Andrew Kirby told me, which was my background story and also just how I position myself. Right, so that was absolutely crazy. And just because this one thing happened, now I will get more networking connections, right? Because my value increased on the market, right? So what happens now is I'm actually able to make over $100,000 just from that one thing that Andrew Kirby told me, which will lead into more views, more status, more connections. And once I have this more networking connections, then I'm actually able to make more money off of and also increase my status, increase my values, which will eventually lead into more networking connections, which is, so it's literally just like an infinite positive feedback loop, right? Because like the more money I make, the higher my status goes, the more networking connections I get, and also the more money I make, blah, blah. Okay, so this story is actually to do with Jordan and also William Brown and also Mike Thurston and a bunch of these other guys on a yacht. So what happened is actually back in the day, Charlie Morgan introduced me to William Brown, who literally just sold his company for tens of millions of dollars to a private equity firm, and he's making over, I think, like 700K per month right now, which is pretty crazy. Anyway, so what happened is he introduced me to Will, and I actually introduced Will to Jordan, which is my very, very good friend. We've actually been traveling the whole world together with pretty much this entire past year. What happened is Jordan actually signed up to Will's coaching because that's kind of what he wanted to do. And he literally made 50 grand in a 24-hour period just because Will told him this one thing on a coaching call, right? Which was like an email database reactivation kind of thing for his own email list, right? He made 50K just from that one thing. And just because I made that networking connection, now Jordan and also Will, they both feel obligated to give me back value because I made Jordan 50K, and I also made Will probably maybe 8K, something like that, maybe 5K. And what happened is Will actually invited me onto his yacht, and also Jordan as well, to this yacht, and then I actually got more connections from this. So what happened is I actually got connected to Mike Thurston, which helps me a lot with my mindset, and just like your self-image just goes so much up higher when you just get connected with these top guys in the industry. And also this legend, which is Jack Hopkins, or CEO of Testosterone, and this was actually just a side note with the whole Imperium team. This was me tallest man there. Anyways, I started talking to a lot of these guys, and just your whole mindset just absolutely explodes when you just surround yourself with people who are doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, because then eventually you'll get there, and eventually I did get there, right? Maybe not 200K per month just yet, but we're coming up on 100K, very, very close. I probably actually will hit it within the next 20 days or so. So another one is actually with Nick. Right, so Nick's setting, he's just chilling there, bought 4 plane tickets, seats. Okay, so this one is actually to do with me saving probably close to $50 million of taxes over the next few years. Right, so I actually got connected with Jordan, so what happened is I actually messaged him on Discord about exactly 12 months ago to this exact date. And what happened is we actually got on a Zoom call. You guys obviously know the whole story from the last video, but essentially I got connected to Nick, and we've actually been traveling the entire year together, having the absolute time of our lives. So, and what happened is actually a few months ago, me and Nick got on a quick Zoom call, and we said, yo, let's go to Dubai. Essentially, we literally booked flights at 3 in the morning, and I had no intention whatsoever setting my company up here. But the whole plan was for Nick to set up his company. I was going to just join him to see how Dubai is, stuff like that. But essentially what happened is Nick set up his company, and I was like, shit, I need to set up mine right now, because I'm just paying taxes for no reason, right? Because I'm not even in Canada for most of the year. So what happened is I actually also set up my company there, which cost me quite a lot of money, but it also saved me a lot of money, right? Because just in 2024 alone, I'll probably save anywhere from $300,000 to maybe even $700,000 in taxes, just because this one thing, right? Because essentially, we're obviously not committing tax evasion, but the Canadian government do not see this, but that's fully a joke. So, but yeah, we literally been traveling the whole year together, and this was the whole results of that, right? So essentially, now I pay 0% tax, and I'm profiting close to $100,000 every single month at 21 years old, just because this one thing, right? And there are tons of more stories that I could get into, but
yo, what's up, Eric? So I've just watched your latest video on Alex Hermosi. I watched the previous one as well, the goofy, what was it, like your dog dropped your sandwich on the floor or something. So you're already doing good, you're using.
But actually, I'll tell you guys a quick story now that actually just happened a few weeks ago, which actually made someone close to, I think, 20K in revenue. So I actually connected one of my mentees to this guy I also had in my network who was DMing me from YouTube as well, right? And actually what happened is I actually connected them, and they literally split a villa in Bali together, and that one guy who I connected to my mentee with made close to 20K in revenue just within a few weeks. Just because that one networking connection, right? So that's absolutely insane. Now, what actually results into that is that guy who I actually connected my mentee with, he actually feels obligated to give me value back because I gave him value in exchange for that, right? So that's kind of how it all works. And that same mentee is the one who went from 0 to 50K per month in 90 days. And also in my mentorship, there's no course, there's no videos, there's no group coaching. It's very, very different from everything else in the market. And that's actually why I get the best results by far compared to everyone else. Now, what I actually have right now is a bunch of these mentees and also a bunch of these guys in my network who are pretty much traveling the world and is looking for more guys. So what I'm going to do is actually A, open up a few more spots for my mentorship, and actually B, I am opening up a private networking mastermind travel group, right? So essentially it's going to be with a bunch of guys, agency owners only, who are pretty much just traveling the world full time, and also guys who are looking to travel the world full time, but don't know anyone to travel with, right? So essentially it's going to be a bunch of calls a week, and we're pretty much going to be organizing massive trips, and just everyone's going to be getting connected in there. I'm going to have a bunch of guest speakers on there. For example, the first one's going to be a 9-figure guy who just exited his company, and it's going to be pretty crazy, right? So, and I'm actually going to be doing a bunch of massive group trips, which is going to be about 20 people long. It's going to be pretty cool. I think the first one's going to be Cape Town, maybe even in February. Hopefully we get like 10, 20 guys on there. It'd be really a fun time. Everyone who's a YouTuber in the SMA space is probably 80% of the time a complete geek, right? Like they don't actually travel at all. They pretty much just lock themselves in the room. Yeah, you're making a lot of money, but what's the point of making a lot of money if you're just not going to experience life, right? Because that was my whole philosophy, just traveling as much as physically possible, and obviously it's ROI, right? So I'm not saying that to be any sort of controversial. I actually kind of am, to be honest, but a lot of these guys just don't travel at all. They pretty much just lock themselves in the room. You're pretty much a bot at that point, right? And it's not no in-person mastermind bullshit. It's just going to be 1 to 2 weekly calls with everyone in the mastermind, and we're all going to be helping each other scale to the moon, all of our agencies, and also just networking like crazy, and also just planning group trips, right? Because that's actually the main emphasis there, is it's going to be trying to network with everyone else in the mastermind and essentially going on smaller trips, along with massive trips that I will be organizing a few times a year. And essentially it's going to be like 20 guys down there, and we're all going to be like a massive group of all agency owners. No one else is allowed, and it's going to be absolutely crazy. So if you guys do want to apply for that, I will be doing a heavy qualification process, but if you guys do want to apply for that, just DM me on Instagram at eric.kavelaars, and we could pretty much get into it, right? And also, if you guys do want to apply for my one-on-one mentorship, then also just DM me on Instagram at eric.kavelaars, and we could start scaling to the moon and hitting those 100K per month and also 50K months within a few weeks. Maybe not a few weeks, but easily 10, 20K within a few weeks. So let's get into it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you if you're watching this to the end. So take care, and we'll talk soon.